Okay, I'm just intuiting this from little sprinkles of what I heard about group 7, and now I'm just gonna, let's see if you can relate. Okay, so group 7, although it did start as like a TikTok trend with a musician posting multiple videos of different groups, and it had nothing to do with what it is now, and um, but it is a collective of people who are breaking out of their own matrix, which is connected to like the bigger matrix of this idea of the programs and all these things that we've been told by humanity, that this is like how it is, and this is how it's going to go down, and this is how you're going to make money, and this is what happens to your body at this age, and like all this stuff that we have just, because we all have collectively agreed that this is how it is. So think of it as this ability of going from like Newtonian science, which is very like matter of fact, right in front of you, like touch the thing, it's right there, into Newtonian thinking into quantum thinking, while still honoring the Newtonian structure, right? Like this is, instead of looking at things like this is separated from me, this is this camera is there and I'm here and there's this separation. But then when we look at it quantumly, it starts to get like really cool and bizarre and align with more spiritual teachings about this being an illusion, that we're projecting our consciousness out, that we're co-creating this whole reality. And group 7 is, someone like, it wouldn't surprise me, like you watching something like this and all the other readings and manifesting and healing things, and just kind of, first it's like breaking out of our singular our self-owned matrix, like the matrix that we have been associating to this narrative. And when this thing happens to me, it means this about me or whatever. And there's something with these people who are on this journey of like, who is my deepest self? What are my gifts that I'm here to share? Like, what is my truth? Are obviously realizing that all these things that we've been learning are just something that someone made up, and it was maybe right for that time, or it was maybe the level of education that society had at that time, right? Like the Bible is not breaking down quantum physics, so in metaphorical terms, it has to, share these humanity stories in a way that's digestible, because the consciousness of humanity was at like a kindergarten level. So, as time goes on, we elevate and like our consciousness expands as a collective. And this is now this idea of kind of breaking out of a distorted group think, right? Like a hive mind kind of a thing that we've all been just taught by, like, especially these ways for us, like what it, really stepping into our true self and being able to be really like wealthy and abundant from that. And I'm not just talking about that in a way of like, money coming, but that is a part of it, but just like wealthy in life, like your health is wealth, like your friends are your wealth, like all these things, you're able to speak your truth, you're able to do something without feeling scared, all those things. And aligning and shifting out of the fear matrix and this limited kind of putting a cap on your understanding into like a new exploration of reality, right? Like we're the pioneers of the like exploring the wild west of consciousness. And it's this like, this thing where, because we're breaking out each individually for ourselves, we're the ones that are actually breaking the matrix for everyone else. So this is kind of my understanding of group 7. And I don't like to be identified with most things. I prefer not to like but it has like a cool meaning, specifically because I feel like I also gave it that meaning. So I'm like, yeah, that's what it means. Like I've heard some things and I'm like, but this is what okay, this is how I'm going to interpret that and make it mean. And this is what I'm going to talk about. But I also, because we're all here and we're aligning with our truth and we're, I think the one of the other really big things is realizing that our bodies, just like, all these metaphors in the movie The Matrix and all this thing, like, and the illusion, and having centuries of spiritual teachers talk about this being illusion, and then now quantumly coming to that realization that material is like not, it's like a projection, it's not, and forgive my ignorance when I speak about quantum physics, but this, this thing we're living in is way more bendable, and it's bendable not only through the way we think, but we can harness the power of this machine, this biological machine we have, which means our body is the technology. And when we see that, technology is on this like massively like crazy evolution, it is actually mirroring back to us that our own tech, right? Our technology is having a rapid evolution. And like, I would say those kind of, it's that group 7 kind of thing, like who are ready to like move with the change and honor that, like, oh, we are the tech, we are the medicine, we carry the technology. It is through our thought, but there is something with aligning the body's technology with the intention, with the thought. Even connecting to the plant technology, the animal technology, the earth technology, like this is the technology, man. This is the most sophisticated technology. This is the technology that holds all the answers and the keys. So one of the things we can do is work with our body's technology by aligning our intention with certain movements, with certain breath work, to amplify these things like transmutation, to amplify things like our ability to heal and manifest. So for y'all, and let's just, I'm almost like, I don't even want to call this a name, group 7. I'm just so uninterested in identifying with like, whatever. But I want to pull us some cards and have, see if there's a movement that wants to come out for us, just to like wrap this up and finish it. Okay, so whatever this thing is that you're working on really creating, can you just hold the vision? Just take a moment and hold the vision of this thing that is just so perfectly in alignment with you, which obviously you don't even know because you're not even at that level of consciousness to even know these things that are unknown to us at the moment. But just as deep as you can go into that understanding of yourself. Hold that vision. All right, interesting. So, okay. Yeah, in the fire, in the transformation, like this is, let me just give me a second. Seven flames, 7 flames. Group 7. Again, I'm not identifying with that. I'm just whatever. Okay, so the 7 flames, and there's this old version of you that you have been, and this could even be, think of like you in the last 7 years, or you could look at it in the last 7 months, but it feels like there has been some massive transformation that like started Like, you know, when you really got into this work, when you really started kind of, you know, like owning that you're a part of creating your own reality. And like, whenever that started, you have been, you know, going through all these shifts. And that's why every freaking reading you have or watch on YouTube is always like, something big is gonna happen. It's finally shifted into but it keeps building on itself. Like, sometimes you feel like, well, that's not the thing, the big thing, but like, you have been like leveling up for a while now, and it's level up after level up after level up, and it's been really hard, because the greatest, like the fire, you've been being burned, you've been having to face your deepest, most internal fears about yourself. And this is like, you know, because you had to face those matrices, those programs, those things that you were so ingrained in your understanding of yourself that were never you. And it was really painful to face those and relive those and see through the eyes of them, and like overcoming them and transmuting them. But look at the Phoenix is almost out of this fire. It's at the tail end, and then we have almost there. So I always say about this card, the almost there card is the recognition and honoring of feeling like you've always almost been there and never fully there. And that this talks about, and it came from my membership. Someone said the way I was explaining this was actually, it's kind of a long explanation, so hers was really good. Like, oh, you're on the bridge from one land to this new timeline land, and like you're in the middle of the bridge. It's like that connects the two, so you're almost freaking there. But basically, in a nutshell, the story of almost there and this fox's journey was that everything he was learning, and every time he thought he was getting to the thing that was his purpose, was getting to the thing that felt like, this is where I'm supposed to be, this is who I am, it wouldn't freaking happen. And what he realized when he was finally almost there was that if he hadn't gotten the wisdom through all those tests and difficulties on that journey of continuing to almost get there, he wouldn't have had the knowledge to hold the weight of his big dream. He wouldn't have had the knowledge of how to figuring out how to like even like tap into the identity of that version of himself. So this is talking about everything you have gone through. Everything has actually been the thing that's been leading you to this your heart's deepest desire. Small steps, big accomplishments. Like, this is also telling me that like the dream you have isn't what is really going to happen, is that it's in alignment with what you think right now, but it's so much bigger. It has a flavor of what your concept or your projection is of this dream, but it's so much bigger, and it's almost like wilder. It's almost like otherworldly. Like, it almost feels like it doesn't make sense in this like paradigm matrix thing we've been living, like, because that's you breaking out of the matrix, right? That you are, right? This is that freedom, the flight of freedom. So we have this person, and then, or what I want to call him, a humanoid. We have this humanoid, and then this massive phoenix who's all these different colors, and flight is liberation, right? When we see animals too with lots of different colors, that means the ability to self-express. So your ability to truly self-express and be freaking liberated in that, and that is your self-authority. That is you defining your own reality and instead of letting outside circumstances, which is another thing that like most of us have been kind of on one extreme with this manifesting thing, right? We're all like figuring it out, because I think a lot of us have been internalizing and self-blaming negative things coming up and being like, I attracted that, right? Because there's that whole thing like you are you know, you're attracting who you are, which is an absolute, it's two sides of one coin. There is an aspect of that is, it feels to me like, yes, that feels partially true. But when we have people getting raped and molested and blown up and, you know, seeing and just like, just all the horrific things that are so unjust happening to people. And I can guarantee you none of those people are radiating at that horrifying level of the things happening to them, right? So that being said, two sides of one coin, there are things that, you know, we attract, but then that's the illusion, is identifying and making these crappy things that are happening outside of us somehow mean anything about us. That's what is not fully being like expressed in the manifesting world, is like, oh, you're not getting the money because you don't feel aligned with your worth, and you're not getting the relationship because you align with like attracting avoidant men, or whatever it is. But there's something about like, that is almost the Newtonian kind of like law of attraction. And quantumly, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Quantumly, it's understanding I'm none of this. I'm none of this 3D reality. None of it actually gets to dictate or define my worth or define my value or define anything. So it's that duality, right? As everything is. But so this to me feels like, for a long time, the small steps, big accomplishments, and whatever you've been working on for a while, like for a while, my friends, has created these like really grounded roots that is going to be long lasting success. This is the return on investment card. So this is something that you've been just working your way in the blindness and the weeds and the rejections and still going for it. So I know, you know, this body tech is maybe one of the most sophisticated and complicated and simple of all the body tech cards. It's like, you have to know. You have to be in the knowing, which again is not always how it is. Sometimes there's amazing things that happen to us and we could have never, like, we were in the self-doubt, we were in the fear, and we still attracted a beautiful relationship or a beautiful opportunity, and it was okay that you were scared, and it didn't negate or make that scary thing happen in your head. But there is, see, this is that, it's like, it's not just one way, friends. It's not just one way. So there's something about this, you are being asked, like, and when we did this reading and everyone infused their energy and seeing that version of themselves living their greatest dream, we are channeling that version. And this version is saying, be in your I am, be in your I know. Know for a fact that it's going to happen. Do not rely on the outside 3D to tell you anything. Know without a doubt, in the rejection, in the fear, in the like, the money is not coming, or the person did something horrible that makes it seem like, or they, you know, you got rejected from, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That is when we take our self-authority. That is when we take our own empowerment and choose that it's still going to happen. And for whatever freaking weird reason that this is showing up, is actually something that can strengthen me to have even more trust, to act as if the prayer is answered, to be in the knowing that this thing is going down, and for whatever weird reason, this obstacle is the way to it. And that's why this says, I have a choice in how I see this. So she's dealing with all these shadowy things, and she's choosing to use her body. There's two things happening here. See, she takes the things that are seemingly dark, she turns it into her gift, she turns it into the abundance portal. That's the one we're gonna do. I'll show you. We'll just do it for like a minute to close this session up, because we have to get embodied, right? The tech is our body. So I have a choice in how I see this. Kind of goes back to everything I was saying with the I am, I know. That's it. That's literally the message. It's like, choose that the thing that seems dark and negative, that the thing that seems shadowy is actually the only way to create the portal to get the gift. Okay? So this one, which we'll do, create a diamond, right? And we're gonna do a breath with it, but we're bringing our hands up and down. And we're gonna turn this. We're acting as if our body is the transmuter, right? We're pulling in, we're taking any negative thoughts that we've been thinking, and we're actually, we're turning it into a diamond, like, so from cold to the diamond, right? Okay? And then at the end, we'll do 1 and 1, like 1 minute of each movement. We put our hands in this, live long and prosper, but it's also, this hand mudra was inspired by Spock was a kid, and he saw that, I mean, I'm talking about Star Trek, if for those of you that don't know, was at temple or something, and there's this part where they close their eyes, and he saw that the rabbis were doing this over the people or whatever, something like that. And it's this, it holds this, this like connecting to the divine and blessing and prosperity. And then in popular culture, when, you know, this came out, and doing this from Star Trek, live long and prosper. So it's all about this abundance, this prosperity, this blessing and connecting to the divine. So we put our arms up in a V, right? I'm Ving my fingers, I'm Ving. And we're gonna do breath of fire. So breath of fire, we're gonna do O-shaped mouth. Just make, your stomach is gonna go in and out. It just automatically pumps. Okay, we're gonna start with, but here's the thing. Both are breath of fire. But O-shaped mouth, breathing in through the mouth. Start it now. Okay, now roll your eyes to the back of your head. So back and up. It's like you're connecting to your pineal gland. As you do this, sorry, so you're breathing in, out. Continue doing this, and then just see that your body is a machine creating diamonds out of anything that is difficult for you right now. So just see yourself making diamonds, billions of diamonds coming out of your body. Any difficulties you are transmuting, your body is the transmuter. Rolling your eyes back and up. Hands up, breathe in. Eyes back and up. Squeeze every muscle of your body. And now if you're gonna squeeze your root lock, the muscle you hold your pee with, unless you're on your period or you're pregnant, but just squeeze that muscle. Keep your hands up and release through the mouth. And then put your hands in the prosperity pose, put your arms in a V. And now imagine creating this rainbow abundance joy portal that we're gonna lead ourselves into that dimension of ourselves, into that timeline of the version you just connected to, living their greatest life. So eyes back and up, breath of fire. Take all the energy of all those diamonds you made, see them creating this portal, this massive portal around you. And what we're gonna do, group 7, is we're gonna connect our portal to each other. And hell yeah, let's just create world peace right now while we're at it. We're creating a portal, we're creating a timeline where we broke our own matrix, where we're connecting to our highest truth, where we've healed Mother Earth, where we're sharing our gifts with humanity, where we've, are supporting the creatures of this world. See all of this united, and now spread all this light onto everything. Be the illuminator, illuminate humanity. Breathe in, eyes back and up, tongue to the roof of your mouth, squeeze your root lock, squeeze every muscle in your body, see your portal becoming even bigger. Release, keep the hands up, 2 more breaths, so breathe in, eyes back and up, hold your root lock, tongue to the roof of the mouth, make sure the tip of your tongue is hitting right behind your front teeth. That's the cosmic orbit channel connecting the masculine and feminine channels within the body. Release the breath. Last time. Eyes back and up, tongue to the roof of your mouth. Squeezing your root locks, squeezing every single muscle. And release, rainbow at the arms. Slow, imagine a rainbow sprinkling all these beautiful diamonds down on you. Okay, and just one for the road from that, because now we're in another freaking timeline. We just did that collectively. The more people who do that and us doing it together, it shifts us. Wow, so many. Just trust and surrender, trust the invisible forces. I don't think I need to go much more into that. Anyways, also, listen, if you're really interested in sharing so many of your gifts with humanity, if you're interested in having deeper, more vulnerable relationships with your beloved, if you're interested in just showing up and being seen and not caring what others think anymore and just putting yourself out there and like being a freaking warrior and like doing it despite all the crazy things that are happening in humanity and just sharing your freaking gifts and making money off of that and being able to generate wealth and support yourself through sharing yourself, definitely I invite you to come check out the I Am Here to Be Seen workshop. 2.5 hours that leads to a 9-day challenge. We're meeting every day for those 9 days. Replay, so if you're at work, you can watch it after. But it is really gonna quantum jump us into this version of ourselves who is ready to fully be seen in such an epic way, and also just like not. Like, we're really working on detachment in this one. It's gonna be awesome. 11/22, that is this Saturday coming up, link below. It is $55 or free for the I Am Empowered members, which is also freaking amazing. Like, you gotta check out the I Am Empowered membership. It's freaking awesome. Okay, I love you all. World peace forever. Duh.